I was diagnosed with cancer, but I found out my wife was cheating on me. So I transferred my inheritance to my sister and didn't tell anyone about my illness. Sup Reddit. Found out I'm dying the same week I discovered my wife's been cheating on me for months. She doesn't know about the cancer. She also doesn't know I transferred my entire inheritance to my sister instead of her. Here's how that went down. I'm Jake, 38 male, HVAC technician for 16 years. Started as an apprentice, now run my own crew. Cleared $95,000 last year. Solid work, honest money. My wife Kelly, 36 female, is a dental hygienist, makes $52,000. Married 11 years, together 13. No kids. We met in 2012, married in 2014. Life was routine until it wasn't. My dad died 3 years ago at 61. Heart attack. Lifelong smoker. Left me and my sister Victoria his estate. House worth $290,000 and about $380,000 in insurance and savings. Victoria's 33 nurse, single mom to Liam, 9. His dad bailed when Liam was 2. She's been grinding ever since. We split dad's estate 50-50. Victoria got the house, needed it more. I took the cash, about $190,000 after costs. Put most in investments. Kelly agreed it was fair at the time, but started making comments later. Must be nice for Victoria to get a free house. Little digs that added up. Dad's will was simple. Everything split equally. He worked as a plumber his whole life, retired at 60, died a year later. Never got to enjoy retirement. Kelly seemed supportive initially, but the comments about Victoria kept coming. Does Victoria really need that big house? She got the better deal. Over and over. I'd explain investment returns. She wasn't interested. September hit, started feeling off. Fatigue, lost appetite, persistent cough. Kelly barely noticed. Blamed work stress. Lost 15 pounds by early October. Chest pain started October 12th. Finally saw Dr. Patterson on October 18th. Dr. Patterson ordered x-rays. 2 days later, called me directly. Needed CT scan and biopsy. October 24th. Stage 4 lung cancer. Spread to lymph nodes and liver. Inoperable. Months, maybe a year with treatment. Dr. Patterson didn't sugarcoat it. Sat in my truck for 30 minutes. Everything looked normal, except nothing would ever be normal again. Didn't tell Kelly. Couldn't find the words. She asked. I said more tests needed. She nodded, went back to her tablet. I sat in my workshop for hours. Next few days were appointments and insurance calls. Decided not to tell Kelly yet. Something felt off about her lately anyway. More phone time, less interest in us, going to bed early, figured work stress. Wrong. The discovery. October 30th changed everything. Took the afternoon off for another doctor appointment to discuss treatment. Done early, around 2 p.m. Kelly wasn't expecting me until 5 p.m. at least. Pulled into the driveway, noticed a silver Lexus parked on the street. Didn't recognize it. New car, expensive looking. Thought maybe a neighbor had visitors. Went inside through the garage like always. Heard voices upstairs. Music playing softly. Thought Kelly was watching TV in the bedroom, maybe taking a break. Then I heard the laugh. A man's laugh. Deep voice, unfamiliar. Coming from my bedroom. My bed. My legs just moved on autopilot. Up the stairs, down the hallway, hand pushing the bedroom door wider. Kelly was in our bed with some guy I'd never seen. They were too busy to notice me standing there. 5 seconds felt like 5 years. Then Kelly looked up and screamed. The guy scrambled for his clothes. Decent looking, probably mid-30s. Expensive gym clothes scattered across my floor. Kelly grabbed the sheet, tears starting immediately. Jake, oh my God, I can explain. Get out, I said to him. Voice calm. Eerily calm. Like watching this happen to someone else on TV. He didn't wait. Grabbed his stuff, bolted past me, still pulling his shirt on. Heard him taking stairs 2 at a time. Front door slammed. The silver Lexus peeled out moments later. Kelly sobbed, clutching the sheet. Jake, please, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. How long? I asked. What? How long has this been going on? Don't lie to me now. She hesitated. Long pause. That told me everything I needed to know before she even opened her mouth. 4 months. Since June. 4 months. A third of a year. While I was working 60-hour weeks on commercial projects, coming home exhausted every night, she was doing this behind my back. Who is he? His name is Brett. He's one of the dentists at the office. Of course. The cliché was almost funny. Does anyone else know? No, nobody knows, Jake, I swear. We've been so careful. Except you brought him into our house. Into our bed. She started crying harder. I walked out of the room, went downstairs, got in my truck, and drove. Didn't have a destination, just drove around for hours. Ended up at a park near where Victoria lived. Called her. Hey, you busy? Just got off shift. What's up? Can I come over? Sure. Everything okay? Not really. Showed up at her apartment 20 minutes later. Liam was at a friend's house for a play date. Victoria took one look at my face and knew something was seriously wrong. What happened? I told her everything. The diagnosis. Catching Kelly. All of it. Victoria just hugged me. Didn't say anything for a while. Just held on while I fell apart in her living room. When I finally pulled myself together, she made coffee and we sat at her kitchen table. What are you going to do? She asked. About which part? Both parts. I thought about it. The cancer was non-negotiable. I'd fight it, do the treatment, see what happened. But Kelly? That required decisions. I'm not telling her about the cancer, I said. Victoria frowned. Jake, she's been cheating on me for 4 months, brought him into our house. She doesn't get to play the supportive wife now that I'm dying. You're not dying yet, Victoria said firmly. You're fighting, but you can't hide something like this forever. I can hide it long enough. Treatment doesn't start for another week. I'll tell people I need surgery for something minor. Keep it vague. And Kelly? I'm getting a divorce. Not immediately, though. Need to handle some things first. Victoria nodded slowly. She knew me well enough to know when I'd made up my mind. What things? That's when I explained my plan. The plan. The inheritance money from Dad was in investment accounts under my name alone. Kelly wasn't on those accounts. We'd kept finances mostly separate, only joining for household expenses. She had access to joint checking and savings, but the inheritance was mine. My money, my decision. Current value of those investments was around $247,000. Decent growth over 3 years of market gains. That money was supposed to go to Kelly if I died. My current will stated everything to her. We'd set up basic wills after Dad passed. Standard stuff, leaving everything to each other. Made sense at the time when we were happy and faithful. Yeah, that plan was done. Finished. Over. The next morning, November 1st, I called my lawyer Mitchell. Different guy than the one who handled Dad's estate. Someone I'd worked with on business contracts for my crew over the years. No-nonsense type who I trusted completely with sensitive matters. Mitchell, I need to update my will. Today, if possible. Sure, Jake. What changes are we making? Everything goes to my sister Victoria instead of my wife Kelly. Everything. And I need this done fast and done right. Long silence on the other end. Jake, that's a pretty significant change. Is everything okay between you two? Not particularly. But I need this handled quickly and correctly. Can you fit me in? Okay. Can you come by this afternoon? Say 2 p.m.? I was at his office by 2 p.m. sharp. Explained the situation. Not the cancer part yet. Just the cheating. Caught her with another man in our bed. Mitchell didn't judge, just took careful notes and asked clarifying questions. You understand that if you pass away while still legally married, Kelly can contest the will, he said. Spouses have certain legal rights. I understand. But if I transfer assets before death, there's nothing to contest, right? Mitchell looked at me carefully. Jake, are you dying? We're all dying, Mitchell. I'm just more aware of my timeline than most people. He didn't push it. Technically, yes. If you gift assets to your sister before death, those aren't part of your estate. But large gifts can trigger tax implications. And if you die within 3 years of making significant gifts, the IRS might consider it part of your estate anyway for tax purposes. What if I don't die within 3 years? Then the gifts are clean. But Jake, you're talking about essentially disinheriting your wife while you're still married. That's complicated. Is it legal? Yes, with proper documentation. But it's going to raise questions. Let Kelly ask questions. I'll have answers. We spent 2 hours working out the details. Changed my will to leave everything to Victoria. Set up the paperwork to transfer the investment accounts to her name. The transfer would look like a gift, which it was. Mitchell drew up a letter explaining my reasoning. That Victoria needed the support as a single mother. That I wanted to ensure my nephew's future. That this was my decision made with sound mind. I signed everything on November 2nd. The investment firm processed the transfer on November 5th. By November 8th, the money was in Victoria's account. $247,000. Clean and simple. Called Victoria that evening. Check your bank account. Why? Just check it. Heard her typing on her computer. Then silence. Then more typing. Then her voice, shaky. Jake, what did you do? Made sure you and Liam are taken care of. This is your inheritance from Dad. I can't. It's yours now. Set up a college fund for Liam. Pay off your car. Do whatever you need. But it's yours. No arguments. Does Kelly know? Not yet. And when she finds out, it'll be too late to do anything about it. Victoria tried to argue, but I cut her off. Listen to me. You've been struggling for years, working yourself into the ground for that kid. Dad would want this. I want this. Accept it. She was crying. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Say you'll use it wisely. And say you won't tell Kelly if she comes sniffing around asking questions. She doesn't know. Not yet. She will soon enough. We hung up. That night I slept better than I had in weeks, despite everything. At least one thing was handled. Meanwhile, life at home was tense. Kelly tried apologizing constantly the first week, crying, explaining it was a mistake, begging for another chance. I stayed cold. I need time to think, I told her. Jake, please, I love you. It was such a stupid mistake. Brett means nothing to me. You've been seeing him for 4 months. That's not a mistake, Kelly. That's a choice you made repeatedly. She'd cry more, promise to break things off, swear it would never happen again. I just nodded and went to my workshop. November 12th, I started chemotherapy. Told Kelly I had a minor hernia that needed outpatient treatment. Nothing serious, but I'd be going to the medical center once a week for a few weeks. She barely looked up from her phone when I told her. The chemo was rough. Not as bad as I'd feared, but definitely not pleasant. Fatigue got worse. Nausea came in waves. Lost more weight. Kelly noticed I looked terrible but bought the hernia story. Or maybe she just didn't care enough to dig deeper. Victoria drove me to my second chemo appointment on November 19th since I felt too weak to drive myself afterward. She'd taken a personal day from the hospital to help. How are you really doing? She asked on the drive home. Some days are better than others. Today's not a better day. Jake, you need to tell people. Get support. Let Mom know at least. Mom's dealing with her own cancer recovery. She doesn't need this stress. She'd want to know. Later, after I see how treatment goes. If it's working, I'll tell everyone. If it's not, I didn't finish the sentence. Victoria's hands tightened on the steering wheel, but she didn't push it. Kelly was at work when we got back to my house. Victoria helped me inside, made sure I had everything I needed. You're being stubborn about this, she said. It's my life, my decision. And Kelly, what's the plan there? Working on it. Honestly, I was. The plan was forming slowly. See how the next few months went with treatment. If I responded well and had time, divorce her properly. If things went downhill fast, well, at least she wouldn't get the inheritance money. Small satisfaction, but it was something. Kelly finds out about the money. December 3rd is when everything hit the fan. Kelly had been going through my desk, looking for something, she claimed. Found the paperwork from Mitchell's office about the will change and asset transfer. I came home from work to find her standing in the living room, papers in hand, face red with fury. What the hell is this? She waved the documents at me. Looks like legal paperwork. Where'd you find that? In your desk. Jake, you transferred all of your inheritance to Victoria? Are you insane? I took off my jacket slowly, hung it up. My money, my choice. Your money. That was our money. For our future. Actually, it was my money from my father. And our future seems pretty uncertain these days, doesn't it? Her face twisted. You're punishing me. This is about Brett. This is about me deciding how to distribute my assets. You're not entitled to money I inherited from my dad? I'm your wife. Yeah, you are. And you've been sleeping with someone else for months. Seems like you had your own ideas about our future that didn't include me. She started crying. The angry kind of crying, not the sad kind. You can't do this. That money should be ours. Victoria doesn't need it. She has the house. Victoria's been raising a kid alone while working insane hours. Yeah, she has a house. She also has about $600 in savings and a car that's one breakdown away from dying. She needed this. And I don't? Jake, I'm your wife. Doesn't that mean anything to you? I looked at her for a long moment. Ask yourself that same question, Kelly. Does being my wife mean anything to you? Because bringing another man into our bed suggests it doesn't mean much. That's not fair. Life's not fair. Turns out, neither am I. She threw the papers at me. They scattered across the floor. You're going to regret this. When you cool down and realize what you've done, you're going to regret it. I doubt it. She stormed out, slammed the front door. Heard her car start, tires squealing as she peeled out. I gathered up the papers, put them back in my desk, and locked it this time. She didn't come home that night. Texted around 11 p.m. Staying at Brooke's. Need space. Brooke was her sister. Lived about 30 minutes away. Fine by me. House was quieter without her anyway. Kelly came back 2 days later. Different tactic. Calm, rational, sitting me down at the kitchen table. Jake, I've been thinking. I know I messed up. I know you're angry and hurt. But we've been together for 13 years. That has to count for something. It did count. Past tense. Please don't do this. We can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you need. But don't throw away our marriage over one mistake. 4 months isn't one mistake. Fine. Multiple mistakes. But I ended it. Brett and I are done. I told him we can't see each other anymore. I chose you. You chose me after I caught you. Not exactly inspiring confidence. She reached across the table for my hand. I pulled it away. Her face hardened slightly. What about the money? She asked. What about it? That inheritance should be part of our marital assets. We're married, Jake. What's yours is mine. Not how inheritance works. Money I received from my father before we split up stays mine. But we're not splitting up, she said carefully. Are we? I stood up. Haven't decided yet. But the money's already gone to Victoria, so that particular ship has sailed. You can get it back. Just tell Victoria it was a mistake, that you acted hastily. I'm not getting it back. Victoria already set up Liam's college fund. That money's serving its purpose. Kelly's mask slipped. So you'd rather your nephew have that money than your own wife? My nephew hasn't betrayed me. Makes the choice pretty easy. You're unbelievable. After everything I've done for you? Like what, Kelly? What exactly have you done for me? Because from where I'm standing, you've been living in a house I paid the down payment on, driving a car I helped buy, and sleeping with someone else while I worked my butt off. I work too. Yeah, you do. And you make good money, which you spend on yourself, while our joint expenses come primarily from my income. That's not a partnership, Kelly. That's me funding your lifestyle while you do whatever you want. She stood up so fast the chair fell backward. I want a divorce. Okay, file the papers. That caught her off guard. She'd expected me to backtrack, to panic, to beg. You'd just let me walk away? You already walked away 4 months ago. I'm just acknowledging reality. Fine, but I'm getting a lawyer, and I'm going after everything. The house, your pension, spousal support, everything. Good luck with that. She grabbed her purse and left again. This time I knew she was serious about the divorce threat. Honestly, it was a relief. Called Mitchell the next morning. Kelly's threatening to file for divorce. That was fast. How'd she find out about the money transfer? Went through my desk. She's furious. I bet. Well, the good news is the transfer's complete and properly documented. The bad news is she's right that she can go after other marital assets. Such as? The house if you bought it during the marriage, your retirement accounts, any other savings or investments. Standard divorce stuff. House is in both our names. Bought it in 2015. Retirement account has about $85,000. Joint savings has maybe $23,000. She'll probably get half the house equity and half the retirement account. The joint savings is already half hers, but the inheritance money that went to Victoria? That's untouchable now. That's what I figured. Jake, I have to ask, are you terminally ill? I hesitated. Why do you ask? Because a healthy man in his 30s doesn't usually transfer his entire inheritance away from his wife unless he's planning something. And combined with the will change, I'm just trying to understand the full picture here. Let's just say I'm planning ahead. Mitchell sighed. Okay, well, I can refer you to a good divorce attorney if needed. Not yet. Want to see if she actually files, or if this is just talk. Keep me posted. December 10th. Kelly did file. Served me with divorce papers at work, which was humiliating. My crew tried not to stare as the process server handed me the envelope. Opened it in my truck on lunch break. She was going for everything. Half the house, half my retirement, spousal support for 5 years, and, here's the kicker, she was claiming the inheritance transfer to Victoria was fraudulent and done to spite her, asking the court to reverse it. Called Mitchell immediately. They're trying to claw back the inheritance money. Won't work. It was your separate property, and you can do what you want with separate property. They can argue it was done in bad faith, but judges generally don't reverse gifts between family members, especially to support a single parent. She's also asking for 5 years of spousal support. Given your incomes, you might have to pay 2 or 3 years. Standard calculation. Not fun, but manageable. Manageable if I lived that long? Sure. The thought was darkly funny. The treatment reality. By mid-December, the chemo was hitting hard. Lost most of my hair. Dropping weight steadily, despite trying to eat. Nausea was constant. Worked when I could, but my foreman basically ran the crew now, while I handled paperwork from home. Victoria came by several times a week, brought food, made sure I ate, kept me company. Liam came too sometimes. Kid made me laugh even when I felt terrible. Uncle Jake, you look like an alien, he said one evening, staring at my bald head. Liam, Victoria scolded. What? He does. But like a cool alien. Like from that movie. Kids are honest, if nothing else. Kelly still lived in the house, but we barely spoke. She slept in the guest room, left early for work, came home late. Saw each other maybe 30 minutes a day, usually just passing in the kitchen. Christmas was depressing. Spent it at Victoria's. Mom was there too. She'd finished her own cancer treatment earlier in the year. Was doing well. Kelly spent Christmas with Brooke's family. We agreed that was easier than forcing some fake togetherness. You look thin, sweetheart, Mom said, studying my face. Are you eating enough? Work stress, big year. She didn't look convinced but didn't push. Victoria changed the subject smoothly, talking about Liam's excellent report card. January hit and the divorce proceedings heated up. Kelly's lawyer was aggressive, pushing for a quick settlement. Mitchell advised taking our time. They want to settle fast because they know their case is weak. The longer we drag this out, the more their position deteriorates. How long are we talking? Could take 6 to 8 months for a contested divorce. I didn't have 6 to 8 months. The cancer wasn't responding well to treatment. Dr. Patterson had been blunt about it at my last appointment. We were slowing it down, not stopping it. My liver function was declining. Maybe 3 to 4 months left if I was lucky. But Kelly didn't know that. Nobody knew except Victoria and Dr. Patterson. February 3rd, Kelly's lawyer made a settlement offer. She'd take 40% of the house equity instead of half, drop the spousal support to 3 years instead of 5, and leave the retirement account alone completely. In exchange, I'd admit the inheritance transfer was improper and give her $100,000 from Victoria. Just hand over six-figure money to someone who betrayed me. Simple, right? I almost laughed out loud when Mitchell read me the offer over the phone. Tell them absolutely not. The inheritance stays with Victoria, completely non-negotiable. That's Dad's money taking care of his grandkid. They're going to fight hard on this, Jake. Kelly's lawyer seems determined. Let them fight all they want. They'll lose, eventually. What if they somehow win? What if a judge sides with them? They won't. That money came from my father, was in accounts solely under my name, and I gave it to my sister who's a struggling single mother. No judge is reversing that just because Kelly's angry she didn't get it. Plus, she was already cheating when I made the transfer. Timeline matters. She's your wife, though. That carries some weight in court. Not for long. And being married doesn't entitle her to my inheritance, especially when she violated the marriage first. I've got the timeline documented. I found out about the cheating before transferring the money. That proves my decision-making. Mitchell drafted a counteroffer. We'd give Kelly 45% of the house equity to get her out faster, pay 2 years of modest spousal support based on actual calculations, and split the joint savings 50-50 like adults. But the retirement account stayed mine completely, and Victoria kept every single cent of the inheritance. Non-negotiable terms. They rejected it immediately. Kelly wanted that inheritance money badly. She felt entitled to it deep down, especially now that she knew I'd given it away to family. Made her crazy. The breaking point, February 21st. I collapsed at work. Just fell over while checking an HVAC unit on a roof. My guys called an ambulance. Woke up in the ER with Victoria sitting next to my bed. You passed out, she said. Dehydration and low blood pressure from the chemo. Where's Kelly? Called her 3 times. Went to voicemail. Left messages. Her face was tight with anger. They kept me overnight for observation. Kelly showed up around 9 p.m., hair perfect, makeup fresh. Clearly had come from somewhere that wasn't work. Jake, what happened? She looked concerned, but it felt performed. Dehydration. I'm fine. The nurses said you collapsed on a roof. You could have been killed. But I wasn't. What were you doing up on a roof anyway? Aren't you supposed to be doing less physical work? Job needed doing. She sat in the chair Victoria had vacated when Kelly arrived. Jake, we need to talk about the settlement. I stared at her. I'm in a hospital bed, and you want to talk about divorce terms? Well, you're here, and I'm here. Might as well use the time. No. Jake, be reasonable. This has gone on long enough. Let's just settle, split things fairly, and move on with our lives. You mean move on with your life? What's his name? The new one. Her face flushed. I don't know what you're talking about. You smell like cologne, not Brett's brand, something different. So either you're cheating with Brett again, or there's someone new. Either way, I don't care. But don't come in here pretending you're worried about me when you're clearly busy with someone else. You're being paranoid. I'm being honest. Get out. Jake. Out. Now. She left. Didn't come back. Didn't call to check on me. When I got discharged the next morning, Victoria picked me up. I can't believe her, Victoria said, as we drove to her apartment so she could keep an eye on me for a few days. You're in the hospital and she wants to talk about money. That's all she cares about. The money. I should give it back. The inheritance. If it would make this easier. Don't. That's Dad's money taking care of his grandkid. That's exactly what he'd want. But Jake, no arguments. Promise me you won't give it back, no matter what Kelly or her lawyer says. Victoria's jaw tightened. I promise. I stayed at Victoria's for 4 days. She took emergency leave from the hospital to care for me. Liam was a good distraction, kept me entertained with stories about school and his friends. When I felt strong enough, I went home. Kelly was there, packing boxes in the bedroom. What are you doing? She jumped, hadn't heard me come in. Jake, you're back. This is my house. Where else would I be? I'm moving out. Found an apartment. I'll be out by the end of the week. Good. She stopped packing, turned to look at me. Really look at me. You're sick, aren't you? Like actually sick. What makes you say that? Jake, you're skin and bones. You're bald. You're weak. This isn't just hernia surgery or work stress. What's going on? Nothing that concerns you anymore. Her face shifted through several emotions. Realization, shock, guilt. Oh my God. You have cancer. I didn't confirm or deny it. How long have you known? Does it matter? Jake, I'm your wife. You're my soon-to-be ex-wife who brought another man into our bed. You lost the right to be concerned about my health. When did you find out? October. She did the math. Before or after you caught me with Brett. Does it matter? Yes, it matters. If you knew before, then that changes everything. It changes nothing. You cheated on me regardless of my health status. But if you told me you were sick, I wouldn't have. She was crying now. Real tears this time. Oh God, Jake, what have I done? Exactly what you wanted to do. The cancer didn't make you cheat, Kelly. You did that all on your own. How bad is it? Stage 4. Inoperable. Oh God. She sat down hard on the bed, boxes forgotten. How long? Few months, maybe. Depends how treatment goes. Jake, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry you cheated, or sorry I'm dying. She flinched. Both. All of it. I messed up everything. Yeah, you did. We can fix this. Cancel the divorce. I'll take care of you. We can get through this together. I laughed. Actually laughed. You've got to be kidding me. I'm not. Jake, I love you. I made mistakes, but I still love you. Let me help you fight this. You love me. Right. That why you were with Brett? Or the new guy whose cologne you were wearing at the hospital? There's no new guy. Kelly, stop. Just stop lying. We both know you don't love me. You love the idea of being the grieving widow, getting sympathy, and probably inheriting whatever's left of my assets. But you're not getting that satisfaction. That's not fair. Remember what you said about fair? Life's not fair. Neither am I. You wanted a divorce. You're getting one. And you're not getting my inheritance money because I already gave it to someone who actually deserves it. She wiped her tears, anger replacing guilt. You gave it away to spite me. I gave it away because Victoria needed it more than you do. But yeah, knowing you won't get it is definitely a bonus. You're cruel. I'm dying. Cruel doesn't really factor into it anymore. She grabbed a box and stormed out. Was gone 3 days later with about half the furniture. Honestly, she could have it all. Didn't need it anymore. The final months. March brought warmer weather and worsening symptoms. I stopped treatment on March 15th. Dr. Patterson wasn't happy about it, but I was done. The chemo was making me miserable and barely slowing things down. I wanted what time I had left to be on my own terms. If you stop now, you're looking at maybe 6 to 8 weeks, Dr. Patterson said. Then I've got 6 to 8 weeks to do things my way. Moved in with Victoria permanently by mid-March. Couldn't take care of myself anymore and refused to let Kelly back into plain nurse after everything. Victoria set up the guest room for me. Liam drew pictures for the walls. The kids' artwork was terrible, but it made me smile. Kelly called constantly. Wanted to visit, wanted to help, wanted to be involved. I didn't answer. Eventually changed my number and didn't give her the new one. The divorce wasn't finalized yet. My lawyer Mitchell said it could take another few months, especially with Kelly fighting every term. I told him to drag it out. Spite? Maybe. But mostly I just wanted her to know she'd lost. April 2nd, Kelly showed up at Victoria's apartment. Victoria didn't let her in. He doesn't want to see you, Victoria told her at the door. I could hear them from the guest room. I'm still his wife. I have a right. You have no rights here. You lost those when you cheated on him. He's dying and you're keeping me away? What kind of person does that? The kind who watched her brother kill himself working while you had an affair. Get off my property, or I'm calling the cops. Kelly left. Didn't come back after that. I spent my last weeks with the people who mattered. Victoria and Liam. My mom, once I finally told her everything in early April. She cried for 2 days straight, then pulled herself together and spent every day with us. My crew from work visited, brought food, told jokes, treated me like a person instead of a dying man. That meant something. Mitchell came by on April 12th with paperwork. Kelly's agreed to drop everything. She'll take 30% of the house equity, no spousal support, no claim to anything else. She just wants the divorce finalized. What changed? She knows you're dying, thinks she'll inherit everything as your surviving spouse if she's still married when you pass. What she doesn't know is that you changed your will back in November. So she's playing the long game. She thinks she is. Sign these and the divorce will be final in about 2 weeks. I signed. Best decision I'd made in months. April 20th, divorce finalized. Kelly was no longer my wife. Got the email from Mitchell around 3 p.m. Showed Victoria. How do you feel? She asked. Free. Kelly found out about the final will changes on April 28th. Mitchell sent her a courtesy notification that she was no longer the beneficiary of my estate. She called Victoria's apartment about 40 times that day. We didn't answer. She showed up again on April 30th. I was having a good day, relatively speaking, so I agreed to see her. Victoria let her in, but stayed in the room. Kelly looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back messy, none of her usual polish. Jake, please, tell me you didn't do this. Tell me there's some mistake with the will. No mistake. Everything goes to Victoria and Liam. But I'm your wife. Ex-wife. As of 10 days ago. You timed this. You waited until the divorce was final to change the will. I changed the will in November, Kelly. Long before the divorce was finalized. Then change it back. Please. We were married for 11 years. That has to count for something. It did. Then you decided it didn't. Actions have consequences. Jake, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But please don't leave me with nothing. You're not getting nothing. You got 30% of the house equity? That's about $90,000. More than fair considering you betrayed me for 4 months. That's not enough. Should have thought about that before you brought Brett into our bedroom. You're doing this to hurt me. I'm doing this to help the people who actually stood by me. Victoria, Liam, my mom. People who didn't abandon me the second things got hard. I didn't abandon you. Yes, you did. When I needed my wife most, you were with someone else. So now when you need my money most, it goes to someone else. Fair trade. She broke down completely. Victoria walked her to the door. I heard Kelly screaming in the hallway about how I was a vindictive monster, how she'd been a good wife, how this wasn't fair. Victoria came back. She's gone. Good. That was the last time I saw Kelly. The end May 8th. I'm writing this from Victoria's guest room. I'm weak. Moving is hard. Eating is harder. Dr. Patterson says days now, not weeks. Mom's here. Victoria's here. Liam comes in after school to tell me about his day. This is how I want to go out. Surrounded by people who love me, not by someone who saw me as a paycheck. Kelly tried one more time yesterday. Sent a letter through a friend asking if we could talk. I had Victoria send back a simple message. No. The inheritance money is secure. Victoria's already bought a reliable car and set up Liam's college fund. The rest is invested for their future. That's exactly what Dad would have wanted. The house equity gave Kelly $90,000. More than she deserved, honestly. But my lawyer said anything less would have dragged out the divorce, and I wanted it done. She can use that money to start her new life with whoever she's seeing now. Don't know, don't care. My pension and remaining assets, what little there is after medical bills, goes to Victoria. About $30,000 total. Not much, but it'll help. I never told Kelly about the cancer until it was too late for her to use it for sympathy or manipulation. Never gave her the chance to play the supportive wife while planning how to spend the inheritance. She showed me who she really was when she thought I was healthy and had money. That's all I needed to know. Some people might think I was harsh. Maybe I was. But I had a choice to make. Leave my money to someone who betrayed me, or leave it to someone who's been there through everything. Easy decision when you put it like that. Victoria feels guilty about the money sometimes. She shouldn't. Dad wanted his grandkids taken care of. Liam's his only grandchild. This is exactly what Dad would have wanted, and exactly what Kelly doesn't deserve. Update. Reading through this one more time. It's May 14th now. Getting harder to stay awake. Victoria says I should rest instead of writing, but this feels important. Leaving a record, telling the story. Kelly's called the house phone twice today. Victoria answers, tells her I don't want to talk. Can hear Kelly crying through the phone. Part of me feels bad. Small part. The rest of me remembers walking into my bedroom and seeing her with Brett. People keep asking if I regret being so hard on her. The answer's no. She had 4 months to come clean, to tell me about the affair, to choose our marriage. She didn't. She got caught. Big difference. The money to Victoria isn't about punishing Kelly. It's about rewarding loyalty. Victoria took care of me when nobody else did. She deserves everything I can give her. Liam drew me another picture today. It's a spaceship. Says I can take it with me when I go on my adventure. Kid doesn't really understand death yet. That's probably better. Mom's been reading to me when I'm too tired to read myself. Currently going through The Hobbit. Been years since I read it. Still good. Simple story about someone going on an adventure, finding courage, making it home. Fitting, somehow. Mitchell called yesterday to confirm everything's buttoned up legally. Victoria's set as executor, sole beneficiary. Kelly has no claim to anything. He asked if I wanted to leave her a letter or anything personal. Told him no. Already said everything I needed to say. Hospice nurse comes by twice a day now. She's nice. Doesn't ask too many questions. Just makes sure I'm comfortable, adjusts meds, checks vitals. Victoria asked about moving me to hospice care. I said no. Want to be here. Want to be home. This isn't the home I expected to die in. Thought it would be my house with Kelly. Life had other plans. Better plans, turns out. This place has love in it. My house just had broken promises. Kelly sent flowers today. Victoria threw them out before I could see them, but she told me about it. Card said, "I'm sorry for everything. Goodbye. Too little, too late. Goodbye, Kelly. Hope you figure out what you're looking for. Just glad it's not my problem anymore. Goodbye, Reddit. Told my story. Left my mark. Took care of business. Made sure the right people got what they deserved. The good ones and the bad one. Time to rest now." Final note from Victoria. Jake passed away peacefully on May 17th, surrounded by family. He was conscious until the end. Made jokes with Liam about spaceships. Told Mom he loved her. Thanked me for everything. Kelly showed up at the funeral. We let her attend but kept our distance. She cried the entire service. I don't know if the tears were real or for show. Doesn't matter anymore. The will was executed exactly as Jake wanted. Kelly tried to contest it through her lawyer but gave up after 2 weeks when her lawyer told her she had no case. Liam's college fund is set. My car is paid off. We're stable for the first time in years because my brother thought ahead and took care of us when it mattered most. Jake was my hero. Not because he was perfect, but because when life dealt him the worst possible hand, he played it with dignity and made sure the people who loved him were protected. Kelly will always be the woman who cheated on my dying brother. That's her legacy. Jake's legacy is the nephew who'll go to college debt-free and the sister who didn't have to work herself to death. He won. She lost. End of story. Rest easy, Jake. We miss you every day. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.